What up, what up, what up? I'm AC Cruz. You know who you are? Welcome to my podcast. What's up? How goes it? We are back from the vacay, from the hiatus, the time off. And we're back with a doozy, a big one. That's right. Our special guest is Abraham Quintanilla. You know, I've known Abraham since I was a kid, or should I say he knows me since I was a kid. A dear friend to my father, may he rest in peace. Abraham knows my family, I know his. We could sit here and reminisce about all the good times we had with the family, but listen, we're going to jump right into this. Jacqueline, I feel a scratch coming on. Let's do this.
Kicking off season 10, it's another exclusive. We go behind the mic with Abraham Quintanilla, chatting about everything from the original Dinos in 1957 to family, Selena, and of course, Abraham's new book, A Father's Dream. All this and a huge surprise. Even AC didn't see this coming. On the premiere episode of the AC Cruz Podcast.
I guess I hit the got it, right?
You got it. Yeah, please.
Okay, I got it.
Got it.
All right, we're on.
Well, I guess you know how to use the Zoom, don't you?
Well, I'm a prehistoric dinosaur, but I'm learning.
But you managed. Yeah, hey, I'm right now. I'm the same way, man. When I started this podcast, I had to learn all kinds of terms that I had no idea existed. You know what I'm saying? Well, listen, man, you look good. What's going on?
Well, just same routine, working.
Is that your office behind you?
Yes, it's my office. As you can see, I have a collection of old cars. I used to collect them when I were on the road with Selena and Dinos.
Uh-huh.
And every time we stop at a big truck stop, to fuel up the bus.
They have them there, yes.
Yeah, and I would see one that I didn't have, and I would buy it. And that's how I started collecting them. But then after a while, I just quit collecting them.
Well, you stopped being on the road. That's why.
Definitely.
By the way, regarding, let's go ahead and start off. First of all, my condolences to you and the Q family that lost Gipper, James. And I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yes, it was a blow to us because he was very close to us. He was a family friend and a musician with AB's band. But I'd like to mention one thing that.
Sure.
That maybe it'll help other people because we call him Gipper. That was his nickname.
Yeah.
And Gipper was not vaccinated. And he was one of these types of people that didn't believe in the vaccine. And so he paid a terrible price for not believing in it because COVID-19 is no hoax. It's a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real deal.
It's a real deal. And you got to protect yourself.
Again, my condolences.
Let me tell you, ever since I was a little kid, I've had a phobia of needles, and I dreaded to go get one. But then I waited for the Johnson & Johnson one shot.
Yeah.
And so
even now they're saying that the J&J shot needs a booster shot, Jingo. You know?
Yeah, they're working on a booster shot for the J&J.
Yeah,
which I'm waiting for it. Let me finish that with the needle.
Yeah,
like I said, I've had a phobia all my life since I was a little kid. So me and my wife go get the Johnson & Johnson one shot.
Yeah,
and so the nurse says, "You're next, Mr. Quintanilla." So I go and sit down, and she gets that little pad with alcohol, starts rubbing like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing I hear from her, she says, "Okay, we're done." I said, "What? You gave me the shot already?" She said, "Yeah, it's over with." I said, "Wow, she got a good hand, let me tell you."
Yeah.
I didn't feel nothing. And it was over, and I'm glad that I did make a choice to go and get it.
By the way, speaking of needles and shit, I'm sorry that my language, but is your wife listening?
We're in my office.
We need to watch our language when it comes to Marcela, huh?
No, my wife is... I don't think there's anything that she hasn't heard before.
Well, what I love about your wife is that she sometimes, when we talk, it's no secret that we talk quite often, you and I, and your wife's in the background. Abraham, stop that. And you would say, "It's just AC. Don't worry about it. It's just AC." Anyway, what I was saying was that you gave us quite a scare, man. Being you wound up in the hospital recently, man.
Yes. Well, I just had recently, I had a fall that I injured myself.
Let me go ahead and preface this, Abraham. A while back, you were in a fender bender, I guess, a car accident where somebody hit you from behind and it kind of messed up your neck, right?
Right. Well, throughout my years, I've had so many things happen to me that it's funny because all the hits and bumps that you get during your lifetime, they come back to haunt you. And I had what do you call it, a whiplash,
Yeah.
And it injured my neck. So I've had problems with my neck. But then I made the mistake of getting up on a ladder, and I fell. I slipped and I fell.
There at the office?
Well, it was here in our company.
Yeah.
But it was at the soundstage. It's a 2-story. I was fortunate I didn't get killed because I fell from the 2nd floor all the way to the bottom.
Damn.
Yeah. But anyway, I injured my back, and so I had to have back surgery. Well, the first surgery here in Corpus didn't work, so I had to go to San Antonio with another doctor, and they done a second surgery, and I got so much metal in my lower spine and the lower back that I got so much metal there that I could probably build a Volkswagen with it. And but it has helped me,
Yeah.
It's worked, and I can bend over and I can walk and everything. And
So what actually happened to you, Abraham, when you couldn't pick up your cane, man?
well, just recently was the last one. I walked out of the shower. I had just taken a shower, and I slipped, and I felt like 100-pound sack of potato on the floor, and that really, really damaged me a lot because it messed up my knee. And it is what it is. You just get up and go, and life goes on.
And you're 82 now, right?
I turned 82 this past February. I'll be 83 this coming February.
It's coming February.
Yes,
and
sir.
You're still moving along.
I am, and thank God that He has given me a long life, because when I was young, I never thought I would turn to 82 in the future.
What makes you say that, Abraham?
Well, because sometimes when you're young, you take life for granted.
Sure.
You think you're going to live forever. I remember when I was young, I had that energy in my body that I would run and I felt like I could fly. It ain't like that no more.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Now that we're talking about when you were young, let's go ahead and get started, man. Talk about you. Obviously, we'll talk about AB, Suzette, and obviously Selena. By the way, does your wife know that you have another girl on the side? You meet up with her at 3:00 with the other lady?
No, I'm afraid not. That is the furthest thing from my mind at my age.
Talking about Judge Judy, one of your favorites.
Oh, I love to see Judge Judy. I don't miss none of her episodes on TV every day.
When I call you, I say, "What are you doing?" You say, "Hey, I'm kind of busy. I'm watching Judge Judy. I'll call you back."
Yeah, she is a very sharp lady.
Anyway, talking about your younger days, man. Where are you originally from, Abraham?
I was born and raised here in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Okay.
And in fact, my father was born here in Corpus Christi too. My mother was born in Etna, Texas. And so the only time I ever lived out of Corpus was I had a band called Los Dinos.
When you and I talked just on the phone, and I asked you, "Can I repeat this on my podcast?" You said, "Sure, no problem." Now that is your book. Your book, you told me that you're going to start off on your book. By the way, I haven't received the book. My sister Abby has, but I haven't. That's okay. but no. You started off in the Army. How did it all start, the Dinos, please?
Well, Los Dinos, we started in 1957 as a doo-wop group. And then in the movie, I put 2 incidents that happened. We got hired at a Mexican dance, and we were singing doo-wop, so people got a little violent and wanted to beat us up. And so we decided to change over to Spanish music. So that's how the Dinos got started, because we were there from 1957 till 1971 is when the Dinos completely terminated.
Yeah.
And in fact, Severino, because we were a vocal trio with the orchestra,
Yeah.
Tejano style.
Yeah.
And Severino died about 12 years ago. And Bobby just died. Bobby Lita.
We talked about that.
I
Yeah.
just found out that he died. So I'm the only one left. And so when I quit the band in 1969, you know, music is like an obsession. Once it gets into your heart, it's kind of hard to let it go. You know, I love music. I've always loved music. And so when I found out that my kids had the talent and I started working with them, trying to develop them, it grew into what everybody knows now.
Sure. Abraham, what I want to get to is you starting with Los Dinos, and your book, you said that you went in the Army as
Yeah, well, one of the guys in the band, which was Bobby, one of the guys that sang with one of the trio, he received from the U.S. government that he had to report to San Antonio to take the physical for the Army. And so Bobby brought the notice that he got to a rehearsal, and we talked about it, and we decided, you know what, let's the whole band volunteer into military entertainment. And so we went and talked to the recruiting sergeant here in Corpus Christi, what we wanted to do. And I asked him if he could write a letter stating that if any one of us failed the physical, the deal was off. And he did. He gave us a letter. And we went to San Antonio, the whole band, and everybody passed the physical except Bobby, the one that got the notice.
Yeah.
So the deal's off. We come back to Corpus, and a month later, a month to the date, wham, I'm the only one that got drafted. And of course, you know, I was not happy. I was not a happy camper, but you got to go. They got you ready.
Sure.
And that's how I wound up in the Army. And eventually I got stationed in the state of Washington. At that particular time in the military, I was a PFC, private first class. And the pay for that class was $78 a month. That's what they paid you once a month. And so I've never been a person that drinks alcohol. And so come payday, the GIs would go into town and spend all their money, and they're broke for the rest of the month. And since I didn't drink, I didn't go out, I would save my money. So I started a loan business. It's 100% interest. I loan you 10, you owe me 20. I loan you 20, you owe me 40. So I was able to buy a car. So I was the only PFC in the military at that camp that had a car. Typical of us, when you go somewhere else, you always look for your own people. Yakima, Washington was the closest city, and I drove into Yakima to see if there were some other people. La Raza.
Yeah.
And eventually, I don't want to go into the whole detail, but 10 miles further from Yakima, north of Yakima, is a town called Wapato, Washington. And that's where I met my wife.
Yes.
I met her 3 months later. We were married, and we've been married for 58 years.
I'll be damned.
And my wife gave birth to 3 children. Abby was the first one, Suzette was the second one, and Selena was the baby. I quit the band in 1969, and I moved to Lake Jackson, Texas, started working for Dow Chemical. And in fact, during that period of time is when Selena was born, when I was living over there.
Now, what did you do at Dow?
At Dow, I started as a tow motor driver in the shipping department. And 18-wheelers would come from all parts of the country to pick up chemicals, like 55-gallon drums.
Yeah.
And I would drive the tow motor in pallets, 4 drums to a pallet, and load the trucks and all that. I worked that about 3 or 4 months, and then they moved me into the office as a shipping clerk.
Yeah.
And I was there for the rest of the time as a shipping clerk.
Obviously, Hollywood has portrayed you as this entrepreneur that had this restaurant, and that's how something got started. Was it Lupe's restaurant before?
No. There was a new restaurant that in fact, I had a partner, Jim Cerda, that worked also at Dow Chemical.
Okay.
And so one day, me and him were talking, and I said, or he said, I don't remember, he said, this area needs a good Mexican restaurant. Next thing you know, we're looking for a place. If you know Lake Jackson, remember the theater in Lake Jackson?
Yes.
There was a little shopping center separated.
Yes.
And then in the back part, in the next street, or the same street, but out of the parking lot of the theater and all that, was a big building. And that's where we started the restaurant.
Yeah.
And we only lasted about a year and 3 months. At that particular time, they stopped drilling for oil, and all that area, Brazosport area, was affected. The economy just went down, and we had, it was a big restaurant. It had 23 employees. And so we were forced to close it. That's when I decided to come back to Corpus Christi. So I lived 13 years in Lake Jackson, Texas.
Right down the street from my dad, the Chavarria family, from Freeport, Texas.
Oh, definitely. I've known your dad. I knew your dad way before, because he used to play with some bands that I knew. Roy Montelongo, I remember. So I knew him from way back because I was in the music business myself.
Yes, with those Dinos. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, and so we were friends for many years. And then when I moved to Lake Jackson, and I knew he was living there at the time, and, we would chit-chat for, hold conversations about music.
Yeah, I know that. And my dad started KBRZ doing the Hana music on a country station on Saturdays and Sundays. That's where you met my sister Abby, my brother Peter.
All your family. And then when we started with Selena, we used to go play in Houston. I don't even remember the name of the hall, but your brother was there, and your dad was there too. I can't remember the name of that hall. It was on Highway 59.
Oh, you mean the Unicorn?
There you go.
That was later on. Yeah, that was later on.
Yeah, that was later on.
But first, you decided to, when you lived in Lake Jackson, did you do the first professional gig with Abel, my dad?
I remember that your dad was working with Henry from the Mafia.
If you don't mind, Abraham, Abby, my sister, told me the story. You told me the story as well, but I want you to tell the story the way you told it to me. And I think it's funny as hell, man.
It's been quite a few years. As you know, your memory, that is not as sharp as it was back then. But I do remember that your dad was working with Henry. And so I called your dad and said, hey, why don't you guys, at that time, Selena was 9 years old. And I said, Abel, why don't you, who's making the dance? And he said, Henry. I said, why don't you talk to Henry and see if they could hire my kids to open up the show? And so a couple of days later, your dad came back and says, you're on. How much do you want? I said, $500. And your dad started laughing and said, they ain't going to pay you $500. You just starting out. I said, well, just try it. Well, he called me back and said, wow, you must be lucky or something, because he said, okay. So we're on. So the date comes for the gig. I remember it was a Sunday. It was an all-day concert. And they had La Mafia, they had Romance, Roberto Pulido, I think Pio Treviño, had a whole bunch of groups.
Yeah.
So we went up there. We were there early, all excited because we're going to play. And they put us to start at 1 o'clock. And there was only 20 people in the whole Coliseum there, 20 people. And I said, well, you just play your heart out. And they did. And Rudy Talamantes, you remember him?
Of course.
He was with that Mexican grocery chain. What was the name of it?
Fiesta, yes.
Fiesta Groceries. And he was standing there next to the sound engineer. And I'm standing next to the sound engineer, tell him, kick up, bring up the kick, lower the bass and this and that, trying to get him to get a balance on the music. And Rudy was a complete stranger to me. And he said, standing there next to me, he says, wow, he says, who is that little girl? And of course, me all proud, I said, that's my daughter. And he said, man, she is great. Well, to make a long story short, years later, I worked with Rudy in Fiesta Crucis. They gave me some great concerts that were done for top money.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Anyway, getting back to the concert ended, I think, around 11 at night that Sunday. So we had to sit there and wait all night long.
All day, all afternoon.
All day, all night to get our money. So then your dad shows up and says, Henry sent you this. And I said, I counted, I said, hey, we're $200 short. We came for $5. And your dad says, well, that's what Henry gave me. I said, who is this Henry? And he points to the bus. Here I come. I go and knock on the door and say, I want to talk to Henry. So they call Henry and he comes out to the door and he says, can I help you? I said, yeah, we're the band that started and I'm $200 short. We came for $5. They gave me $3. So the guy says, oh, okay. So he sticks his hand in his pocket, comes out with a roll of hundreds, and he hands me two $100 bills. And I went home happy. And that's our first introduction to La Mafia.
After that, man, it was nonstop.
Well, we opened up for La Mafia, I'd say that I can remember about 3, maybe 4 times. And it was always a battle. I always got into fights with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, man.
Oh, yeah, big time. And to this day, there's friction between us.
I'm sorry to hear that.
They don't understand that this little girl that was 9 years old that started back then grew and grew and grew and went past them.
Yeah.
Has sold more records, gathered more people, has done more in the Tejano market than they ever will in their lifetime.
Before we get to that, my brother Pete and my dad were at KGUL in Port Lavaca, Victoria, right?
Yes.
And my brother Pete opened up a record store, and you guys were nice enough to do an autograph session.
AC, let me tell you, at that particular time, I don't think there was a hall or autograph party or anything that we didn't do.
Yeah.
I made sure that we covered everywhere because I know how this business works. And so my goal was to move my kids, and make them grow. And they did grow as they became adults.
Yeah. It's going to be I don't want to say a pain in the ass, but it's going to be I'll say it. It was going to be a pain in the ass having to deal with these concert promoters not showing respect to Selena or you.
Yes. Well, that happens to every band that starts. You got to build it up and build up a name. And the reason is because if they're going to pay money to hire you, they expect for you to bring in the people where they can make a profit. They can pay you and make a profit. That's the way this business works.
Yeah.
And so if you're not known that well, they're going to hesitate. So that's the reason why you have to build up your artist and just work it to where eventually it starts producing. Anybody that says that we didn't pay our dues is very wrong.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember, like I said, my parents divorced and moved to San Antonio with my mom. And there was times when you'd play with the name of the concert promoter was Delmiro Garcia.
Yes.
Yes. Do you remember Delmiro?
Of course. His concerts were done at that park at
Rosedale Park. Yeah. And
he would get packed there.
Oh, yeah. I used to love it. Like I said, when I was a kid, I used to go there and see you guys. And, hey, how you doing, AC?
It's a business that I enjoy, but as I get older, I just don't have the same fire I had when I was young.
Talk about that fire for a minute there, Abraham.
Well,
that fire.
I guess you can call it energy and wanting to achieve something. I've been there, done that. I'm an old man.
Real quick, Abraham, excuse me, but when you say been there, done that, what is there? There meaning my daughter is big, my son is big.
Well, we achieved a lot of success. Selena won a lot of Tejano Music Awards.
Sure.
And she won a Grammy, the first Tejano artist to win a Grammy in the American Grammys, not the Latino.
Yes.
At that time, Latino Grammys weren't even started yet.
Yeah, non-existent, yeah.
And we've done a lot of things, got her star in the Hollywood Star. She accomplished so many things and is accomplishing more things now after her death. Selena is now worldwide.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's worldwide. Anywhere that you go in the world and you say Selena, they know.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I know that you saw this on Facebook, recent anniversary, right? You saw these people saying congratulations. Yeah. Now, I didn't ask you to do a video for me because I know you're busy, like right now. I appreciate you taking the time to visit with me. But Rebecca Cranston lives in Australia, and she's a big fan. And Sean, who lives in Ireland, big fan of Selena, as well as the podcast. And that's not even scratching the surface, man.
It's funny where life takes you. You never know where it's gonna go.
Sure. Now, in the book, Abraham, the part that you said was kind of difficult for you was when it came to the trial.
Yes, and let me explain that.
By all means, please.
I went to the courthouse and I got all the transcripts of the whole trial from day one to the ended and put them in the book also. And it's very interesting. And the reason I done that, because it's been 26 years since my daughter was killed. And for 26 years, I see, especially social media, that we have social media, people accusing me that I let my daughter die because I didn't want to give her blood because of my religious fanatism. And that is a lie. When Selena was brought to the emergency room, she was dead already. It's amazing how the reporters find out before the family does, because when we got to the emergency room, there's reporters there with TV cameras already. The doctor told me I gave her blood. And I said, she didn't want blood. And from that thing that I said there, to this day, they report that I didn't want to give her blood. What I meant by that remark was that Selena was not a Jehovah's Witness, neither is Abby or Suzette. Me and my wife are, but they were raised with some of the Bible knowledge, and Selena believed in the blood issue, how the Bible speaks about how God views blood, because blood is the life of the individual. And that's why I made that remark, because Selena had mentioned one time that if she ever got hurt, she didn't want no blood, even though she was not a Jehovah's Witness.
She didn't want any transfusions at all.
Right. She didn't want any transfusion. And that's the reason why I blurted out, she didn't want no blood.
Yeah.
Well, from that remark, 26 years later, they're still harping on that she died because I didn't want to give her blood. And so that script from the trial, I put everything in there. And it has the testimony of the doctor at the emergency room when she came in. And the doctor is saying, I gave her blood. And I even cut her chest open and I massaged her heart to see if I could get it going again. But she was dead already. I knew she was dead, but I tried it as a last resort because I knew who she was. See, so that clears up that lie that has been said about me for all these years.
People often say things about you. For example, I have a friend of mine who's a program director for a rock station. He says, when you explain this to me, not because you're my friend, Abraham, not because you're a friend of the family, he says, AC, when you explained what you explained to me, that made me think twice about what I've heard about Abraham. I said, of course, people are going to say what they want to say. But Abraham loved his daughter, loves his daughter.
Of course.
And that's why does what he does to protect her name. I mean, I'm talking to this program director. I said, you or me, I have a daughter. We cannot fathom what Abraham, AB, Suzette, Marcella, the mom, we can't even fathom what they've gone through. Nobody can say.
It's very easy for people to criticize something they don't understand or they don't want to understand. Social media is, I've mentioned this a million times. My grandfather was from Monterrey, Mexico.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of sayings, People from Mexico have a lot of sayings.
Sure.
And he would say this, that que hay gente que da el golpe y esconde la mano.
Sí.
Translated means there's people that will slap you or hit you, and then you turn around and see who done it, and they hide their hand. And that's what social media is today. People that don't know you, you don't know them, they can cut you up in a million pieces on social media. You don't even know who these people are.
You know what? The way that I put it, the way that I see it when it comes to social media, people have keyboard courage. They get on the keyboard and se sienten muy valientes. ¿Me entiendes?
That's exactly what it is, and so many years later, and it's still there.
Yeah.
And it'll never go away because there's people who are ignorant and they're going to believe what they want to believe, and you're not going to change their mind.
But they don't know the facts. And fortunately, in your book, you're able to present those facts.
Right. It's a very interesting book that people will enjoy reading. It's a little bit of my memoir, my life, how my children were born, each one, what we went through. And then it talks about the trial. Something that is very important is the latter part of the book. I let each one of my family express themselves in writing what they went through with Selena's death. Man, let me tell you, you got to read Suzette's story. It blew me away. It really, she expresses herself so beautiful with words about her feelings.
Were these feelings that she didn't share with you personally? Oh, man. Oh, no. On the next AC Cruz Podcast, it's part 2, Behind the Mic with Abraham Quintanilla. Were these feelings that she didn't share with you personally?
When I read what she wrote, I found a lot of things that I didn't know.
What did you say to
yourself?
yourself?
You know that they're suffering the death of their sister, and that's logical, but you never know the depth of it.
Regards to music, what are you working on now?
I'm finishing a new album from Brooke T.
Okay.
And so then, of course, we're fixing to sign with Sony Records a new album of Selena.
What? Whoa. Yeah. Now we're not going nowhere. But unfortunately, we have to. So we'll see you next week for part 2 of the AC Cruz Podcast, Behind the Mic with Abraham Quintanilla. If you like the podcast, tell your friends. And if your friends don't like it, find new friends. So just chill till the next episode of the AC Cruz Podcast. Much love. Be safe. Abraham Quintanilla is a very famous and very controversial figure in the music biz. There are people with a lot of different opinions, and most of them don't know him. That's why I've decided on a special 2-part episode. The reason why we're doing this 2-part episode is because there's so much information and misinformation about Abraham. I decided it was finally time for him to tell his story in his own words. Because some people are only repeating what they've heard other people say who don't even know this man. We talked music, family, and of course, the death of his youngest daughter, Selena. And now, let's pick up where we left off. Part 2 of the AC Cruz Podcast, Behind the Mic with Abraham Quintanilla. You know what? The way that I put it, the way that I see it when it comes to social media, people have keyboard courage. They get on the keyboard and se sienten muy valientes. ¿Me entiendes?
That's exactly what it is, and so many years later, and it's still there. Yeah. And it'll never go away because there's people who are ignorant and they're going to believe what they want to believe, and you're not going to change their mind.
But they don't know the facts. And fortunately, in your book, you're able to present those facts.
Right. It's a very interesting book that people will enjoy reading. It's in English. It's in Spanish now. It's also an electronic book. If there's any interest in knowing about us, all the information is there. It's a little bit of my memoir, my life, how my children were born, each one, what we went through. And then it talks about the trial. Something that is very important is the latter part of the book. I let each one of my family express themselves in writing what they went through with Selena's death. Man, let me tell you, you got to read Suzette's story. It blew me away. It really, she expresses herself so beautiful with words about her feelings.
Were these feelings that she didn't share with you personally?
When I read what she wrote, I found a lot of things that I didn't know.
What did you say to yourself?
You know that they're suffering the death of their sister, And that's logical, but you never know the depth of it.
Sure. I mean, you would have to ask yourself, I had no idea she felt this way.
Yeah. You know, Suzette has been with me here at Q Productions. After Selena passed away, she didn't want to play anymore. She didn't want anything to do with music business anymore.
Sure.
So she's been here with me for 26 years. And Suzette turned out to be an incredible businesswoman.
Yes, me and Abby talked about that.
In fact, she runs this whole company, period.
I want to tell you this real quick, Abraham. When I read what I read on social media, I called you up one morning. I said, man, can you believe this shit? And you said, yeah, don't pay attention to that, AC. I said, no, man, this frustrates me because that's not the truth. I won't mention the name of who posted this shit. Anyway, I said, man, Abraham, you have to be a person with tough skin to be a Quintanilla. You said, welcome to my world, man.
That's basically it. I mean, after so many years of getting that, it used to bother me quite a lot at first because I know it's not true.
Yeah.
And but after a while, es como cuando te quemas y se te hace una casparita.
Sí.
Y te quemas otra vez y te hace un poquito más. To where eventually it doesn't hurt as much. And that's what happened to my emotions. I'm at a point where I don't care what they say. Let them say what they really want. I'm not going to change their mind. I know what the truth is, and that's all that needs to be said.
When people tell me about you, about you're a hard ass, about you do everything for money now.
Let me interrupt you there for a second.
Sure.
I know that I am an aggressive personality. If you step on me, I'm going to holler. I'm not going to keep quiet. That's my personality. I never go pick a fight. Never do. I defend myself. Yes. So I know that a lot of people think I'm a mean guy. I don't smile that much. I don't know why. That's the way my face is. You know. So all of these things, and sometimes my voice, I'm a little loud. But I will tell you that as I get older, I'm losing my hearing, so I talk louder. My wife tells me, hey, I can hear people talking, but I can't distinguish or make out the words. And that has to do, you know, I had a horn section and a band playing, blasting.
Yeah.
You know, for years. That affects your hearing.
Sure. Now, getting back to where, hey, you are who you are. You lived your life. You can say whatever you want about me. I know the truth.
That's right. I do know the truth because I lived it.
So social media doesn't bother you at all?
No, it doesn't. I would go crazy trying to please everybody because you can't please everybody, you know. So it is what it is.
I'm not letting you go yet, just FYI. But the name of the book is, you got it right there?
Well, I just got the Spanish translation. Dice, El sueño de un padre, la travesía de mi familia en la música. The journey of my family in the music world.
And the forward is from who?
Okay, the forward is two people that were close to me. It was J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, and Eddie Olmos, who were part of the Selena movie. They were graceful and willing to write the forwards, and very, very good words. If you read it, it'll move you. Just right off the bat, the forward, read that and it'll move you. So, you know, I'm not here with you today to sell the book.
I know that you're not here to sell book. You're here to shoot the shit with me, and I appreciate that. You taking the time out of your busy schedule to reminisce with me.
We have a long story, a lifetime story as families, your family and my family. And we lived in the same area for quite a while. Yeah, you were in the radio business as a program director, and I recorded music and
Lobo Cuatro, Oxígeno, Los Agues, Denver Peña. You recorded some good stuff. You're an artist.
So basically the same type of business that we were in.
Yes. I'm going to tell the story. And I know this is going to make you smile because you don't smile that often. This is going to make you smile. Okay?
Well, people say I don't smile. And maybe that's one reason why they think I'm
a hard ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know that you know.
But you want to know what? You know what?
What?
I am. No, I'm not.
Yeah, yeah.
Suzette says I'm just a little teddy bear. That's all.
Yeah. I know Joseph is there with you, right?
Yes.
Well, Joseph knows the story that when I was the program director, you and I came fist to cuff. We had a disagreement.
Well, in this business, you have disagreements for a lot of things, but they're nothing. They're nothing that will last. You know.
My favorite was when you told me, "I hear you're taking payola," and I said, "You're damn right." I
don't remember that.
I know.
I was mad because you weren't sharing it with me.
I said, "You're damn right." Frank Suriga gave me $1,000. We gave it away on the air. You said, "Well, we'll see what your dad has to say about that." And my dad,
Dad is gonna.
Yeah. Wait. So I said, "Well, you know what?" I said, "It's a different ball game," and I cussed you out on the phone. I hung up the phone, and I took off to lunch. And my dad calls me up. Hey, Abraham, talk to my dad. I said, "Hey, Abraham." This time, my dad is retired. And he says, "Hey, C, what's your problem?" I said, "What?" Abraham called me, told me that you cussed him out. You're not going to play his music, and you're taking payola. And I was like, "Dad, they're promotional dollars we're giving away on the air. But you shouldn't talk to people like that when you're doing business." I said, "Yeah, but he didn't understand." No, you shouldn't talk like that. I said, "Fine. Do you want to call him back?" I said, "No, you make your decision." So I said, "You know what?" I called Abraham back. I said, "Abraham, I'm sorry. I lost it. I'm under a lot of pressure. I'm the new program director." You said to me, "Well, I told your dad, at least he's sticking to his guns." You were proud of you were proud of me, man.
Those are things that I had forgotten about. It's been such a long time.
You said to me, but you stuck to your guns and we supported each other. So when I moved to Corpus, forget about it. We had fun at the Idaho, where I swear you got stock in that company, in the restaurant.
Well, you can't deny that that's the best Tex-Mex food.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
In fact, I was there this morning.
Wait a minute. You sent me that text message right now saying that you're hungry, you haven't eaten.
Well, that was this morning. I got up real early.
Okay. Now we gotta go.
They sell the best chicharrón con huevo, cebolla y tomate.
Mira nomás.
Or lengua frita. They slice the lengua.
Ooh, I love it.
Fry it on the grill.
I love it. Yeah.
With sauteed onions and tomatoes. The best menudo. I mean, you name it.
There was a restaurant there in Corpus when I lived there called Taco Rico. Rico.
No.
Hold on. They do lengua guisado. I like the lengua guisado. It was good.
¿Sabes por qué?
Dime.
Porque la lengua es para los lengones.
Más hocicones. Abraham, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us, man. I thought we were going to go longer, but you know what? I know you're busy. I'm not going to take up. Look at that. Look, well, you're looking at your watch.
No, I didn't even notice what time it was. But I enjoyed it, and I want to thank you for the invitation. And
No. I want to thank you because you support my podcast. You buy advertising. You send me some of your artists. You send me Isabel Marie. You send me Brooke T. Yeah, I mean, I want to thank you for helping me out, man.
Well, we're here to help each other.
Así es.
That's
Again,
right.
The name of the book is
El sueño de un padre, a father's dream. El sueño que yo tuve, the dream I had, it became my children's dream. The dream that I had when I was young, eventually it became the dream of my children. How many parents can say that their children support something that they themselves like when they were young,
Yeah.
So I was so proud of Selena, Suzette, and Amy, and I still am. Unfortunately, this thing happened in our family. This woman came in and took my daughter's life. It's unexplainable.
And I don't want you to try, okay? Here's the deal, Abraham. Because people are wanting me to ask you the impossible questions, ask you those tabloid questions, and I won't do that.
Well, I think we had a good discussion here today.
I think so. Informative.
Yes.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, where's your killer dog? What's his name?
Rico. Rico is at home, and he's a Chiweenie, half Chihuahua and half Winnie dog. Can I say how we got him?
By all means.
Okay. This woman comes in, una anglosajón, a big, big woman, and she's in the front office with the reception and the girls over there. And then all of a sudden, from her cleavage, pops out the head of a little dog. And the girls, something popped out, and the girls freaked. They said, whoa, what is that? And she pulled him out. He was 10 weeks old. Rico was. Little bitty dog like that. And she says, I'm giving him away because his mother was killed. And I said, I'll take him. So I've had him since he was 10 weeks old. I've had dogs all my life. I love animals. They all have different personalities.
Yeah.
And Rico, the only thing that Rico lacks right now is the ability to talk. Because he lets you know what he wants. And let me tell you, I'll end it with this. He loves scrambled eggs.
Yes, I know.
He goes bananas for scrambled eggs.
Yes, I know. I know you said you're going to end it with that, but I want you to end it with the museum. It's been remodeled. It is open. Tell me the hours. Tell me when I can go, please.
Well, Suzette has really done a lot of work here. She completely rebuilt the inside. They just painted the whole building, changed the covers over the doors, and changed the color and everything. They've done a beautiful work. And they're working now on the sign. We're going to put a new sign. And she showed me the design, how the sign's going to be. I can't wait. I'm anxious to see it. And then on the gate, they're going to put an automatic gate that opens up. You don't have to be with your hand rolling it open.
Yeah.
So Suzette has really, really done a lot of good work today.
Well, I do appreciate you saying the person that you need to interview is Suzette. And that was your idea. And I said, thank you. If she would have the podcast, I would love to interview her as well. If she's not too busy. I know she's busy.
Yeah. I'll let her see this and then we'll talk about that.
Regards to music, what are you working on now?
I am finishing a new album from Brooke T.
Okay.
And I also decided to help this young girl named Mia. She's 13 years old. I think she just turned 14.
Is that the one from Austin, Texas?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to start recording her.
Correct me if I'm wrong. She did a remake of
Bitty Bitty Bum
Bitty
Bum.
Bum Bum. Yeah.
And so then, of course, we're fixing to sign with Sony Records a new album of Selena.
What? Whoa.
Yeah.
Now we're not going nowhere. What the hell, Abraham?
Yes, I own 50 songs. Our catalog here for Q Productions, I own 50 songs of Selena. Now, keep in mind, some of these songs were recorded when she was 13, 16, 17, 18. And as you know, that if the singer is young, their voice is higher pitch.
Sure.
Well, AB took 10 songs. We picked 10 songs from the 50 that we have, and he done completely new music arrangements that sound incredible and worked Selena's voice with the computers where she sounds. If you listen to it right now, you think she recorded them this morning.
Wow.
An amazing work that AB done. So we're getting the paperwork from Sony. We're signing with Sony.
Yeah.
They're going to be coming out very soon.
Okay.
It's 10 songs.
Are you at liberty to say which 10 songs they are?
Well, not really.
Okay, that's fine.
Not really.
Now, again, she's been gone now for quite some time, and you doing this remake.
They don't even sound like the original songs because the music is...
Well, it's safe to say remastered, right? Remastered.
Well, no, not remastered. Mastered is a procedure they do in the studio.
Okay.
No, this is new arrangements.
Got it. Now,
the song structure, new arrangements, and the voice has been worked to where she sounds exactly like she sounded right before she died.
That being said, Abraham, hear me out now. People are going to say, look at him. He's doing it again, making money off of his daughter. What do you say to that?
I say, so what? Let them talk. Dogs get old from barking. Let them bark all they want to. I know that in my heart, in my mind, in my family, we said from day one that Selena passed away that we were going to keep her memory alive through her music. And that's what we have done for 26 years. Selena right now is known worldwide. We just received 2 months ago the Grammys Lifetime Merit Achievement Award, that she is the top female artist in the world. That comes from the Grammys. You know, they don't do that just to anybody or to
for sure.
Selena has been growing and growing. I'm saying that she has grown more than what she was when she was alive.
Yes.
You know, it's just really grown. And the new generations are learning about her. Here at the museum, it gets packed with people from all over, and they bring their kids sing the songs. They even dress them like Selena, little girls.
Yes.
You know, so Selena's story has had an impact worldwide.
A little while ago, when you were talking, I could hear people in the background, and there's people out there right now in the museum. And one of the things that you said to me a while back, you said, I'm claustrophobic.
Yeah, I closed the door so we wouldn't be interrupted with the people out there in the museum.
Tourists. Yeah. But people
usually keep it open.
Usually. And you sign autographs. You take pictures.
I do. Let me tell you, like we talked about earlier, I'm a sourpuss. All right? People think I am. They think my personality is dry. And part of it is true because I don't like to sign autographs. I do it. You know why? Because if you don't, they get offended.
Right. You told me that. When I told you that I don't like to sign autographs because I'm just a guy, got on the radio. I have fun making an ass out of myself on the radio, having fun. I don't sign autographs. So when this girl said to me, oh, you think you're all that? You know what? Let me go ahead and sign it for you. And she kept it after all these years and found me on Facebook and sent me that picture. So I'm the same way.
One day, it was at Hi-Ho restaurant. And I'm walking in, and this lady walking out. And she says, ay, señor Quintanilla, un foto. Y le dije, señora, ahorita no. Y me dice, señor Quintanilla, Selena nunca le negó fotos a nadie. When she said that, I said, okay, véngase para acá.
No, que no. No, que no.
Yeah, because I learned a lesson years ago, and I'm going to tell you this short story.
Don't make it short. Make it as long as you want, please.
We're in Las Vegas. I've never been a gambling man. When we go to Las Vegas, it's for a performance, or while we're there, I go see some of the shows, and I eat a lot. And then well, one day I decided, you know what? I'm going to try this gambling thing. So I went and changed $200 for $5 coins.
Okay.
And they give them to you in a little cup, okay? So then I go pick a machine that's poker. So I take 5 coins and I drop the 5 coins in there and I go, wow, nothing. So I'm going to take 5 more coins and I turn around and lo and behold, Diana Ross is crossing right through the middle of the casino.
Wow.
And there's a white guy, a white man carrying a baby, and she's right behind him. You could tell that she didn't want to be noticed. She's right behind him.
Yeah.
Well, I got so excited. Here I go following them. And I followed them all the way to the front entrance of the casino. And he gives her the baby, and she literally stands facing the wall. And I got about maybe 40 feet away. And then I snap. I said, oh, man, what am I doing? So I turned around and walked back, and guess what? $195 worth of coins were gone. I left them there, and somebody took them. I learned a lesson. But the point is that I understand now when you see somebody that you've seen on TV or, you know, that you become a fan, and you see him in person, it's exciting. And I understand that it's exciting for people. Selena, pobrecita, they wouldn't let her eat, just taking pictures. You would go to a restaurant and they'd be around her and all that. But Selena had a little look that whenever she had enough, she would give me a little look like, help, help.
Yeah.
And then I would be the bad guy. I'll go in there, okay, then, that she's got to go and this and that.
Yeah.
And maybe that's another reason why people think I'm a bad guy.
But you don't care. You're too old. You don't care about that.
Not anymore.
Yeah. Abraham, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure.
All right, then. Again, thank you for the invitation. And I love doing it.
Cuídate mucho, eh? Take care of yourself.
We'll be in touch.
Damn Skippy, we stayed in touch because when I was editing this episode, I talked to Abraham. And guess what? They're not going to sign with Sony Discos after all. So this new music coming out, we're going to look forward to it on a different label, a major label. Can't say who, but you'll find out soon. And then, I don't know if you noticed or not, he's so proud of Suzette, he didn't give me the operation times of the Selena Museum. So, 10 to 4, Monday through Friday, and not open on weekends, just so you know, not open on weekends. 10 to 4, Monday through Friday, and if you've been there, you know what it's like. If you haven't been to the museum, you got to check it out because it's very, very cool. Especially now that it's remodeled. During the pandemic, it was closed, so they said, hey, let's go ahead and remodel. And sometimes Abraham will give you a personal tour. He's going to be pissed off at me volunteering his services as a tour guide. I'm just messing with you, Abraham. That was so much fun. Thanks again, Abraham. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. If you like the podcast, tell your friends. And if your friends don't like it, find new friends. So just chill. Till the next episode of the AC Cruz Podcast. Much love. Be safe.